You probably know that we have traditionally friendly and historically grounded friendly ties with South Africa. Just yesterday we were meeting with the country's president, His Excellency Mr. Ramaphosa, and he highly evaluated the current state of our relations. And we were discussing the fact that the next year we are going to celebrate the 30th anniversary of our diplomatic relations, and perhaps it would be right to organize some celebration among our foreign agencies. Our embassies, the Russian embassy here and your embassy in Russia, could be active in that part so that this celebration is worthy of its name. And we have an abiding interest in deepening our political dialogue at the level of our leaders that have met on numerous occasions, both here in South Africa and in Russia. President Putin and the South African leader have met on numerous occasions. And of course our foreign ministers meet quite actively and regularly. And I myself have visited these halls, this very hall as well as other rooms of the department on many occasions, both myself and in company with the Russian foreign minister, and we have a deep interest in continuing in the same vein. Moreover, in 2011, when I got back to Russia after serving as the Russian ambassador to Egypt, we have established relevant contacts with our counterparts in China and then in other BRICS countries at the level of deputy ministers. You know that I specialize in the region of the Middle East and in Africa as well, and we maintain close cooperation with Pretoria and other capitals of BRICS countries because it enables us to give a professional assessment to the regional problems that are relevant for us all, and which result, such discussions often result in the signing of relevant declarations by our heads of state. And just yesterday we were speaking to His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa about our discussions at both bilateral level and under the auspices of international organizations, including BRICS that I have already mentioned, but also G20, the United Nations, of course, where Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council, and where South Africa served as a non-permanent member 2 years ago. There, at the United Nations and in particular at the Security Council, South Africa is making a valuable contribution into the creation and elaboration of relevant documents, and we appreciate that it always supports Russia's initiatives, and we do the same for you. And we also support each other's candidates when it comes to that. And there is also a new format of our cooperation, because it is cooperation between Russia and Africa. In 2019, the first ever Russia-Africa Summit took place in Russia, Sochi, and the South African delegation was headed by the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, and there he had a bilateral meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And of course we appreciate South Africa's contribution to deepening these relations, and we believe that South Africa is our most reliable partner in that. And just yesterday we were speaking about the preparation of the second Russia-Africa Summit that is currently underway. We were speaking about the coordination of our steps that would make this summit more useful and more meaningful for both Africa and Russia, so that we can continue our mutually beneficial and mutually respectful partnership in political dialogue, in trade, economic cooperation, humanitarian cooperation, and of course the military and technical cooperation. And in the preparation of this summit, we rely on the efforts of the African Union Troika, which currently comprises South Africa, the DRC, and Senegal. It was Egypt formerly. It enables us to learn more about the position of our African partners on that matter. On many occasions, we have tried to establish a conference of the foreign ministers, a video conference of the foreign ministers of Russia and the African Union Troika. For various reasons, these attempts did not bear fruition, but We are maintaining bilateral contacts with all of the above-mentioned countries. And I believe that the 3+1 format, which would comprise the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, the South African Foreign Minister Madame Pandor, and of course the DRC and Senegal Foreign Ministers as well, would also be very useful. And just yesterday we were speaking to President Ramaphosa about our views on that matter. And given that Senegal is going to chair the African Union next year, we are currently maintaining contacts with President Macky Sall as well, and I believe that we will manage to elaborate a joint position. You know better than anyone how many conflicts, old and new, exist in the continent. The Central African Republic, Mali, Guinea, Ethiopia that has already been mentioned, they are so numerous. I have just got back from the conference on Libya that took place in Paris. I went there with our foreign minister, and there were numerous African participants, of course, and this situation is quite telling because it's disturbing not just the region of the north of Africa, and Libya itself has been destroyed, of course. This situation is spilling over to the south, and now we see problems in Burkina Faso and in the Sahel in general.
Буркина Фасо и Сахара-Сахельская зона, конечно, представляет большую угрозу для всего региона.
And of course, we are always interested in hearing your approaches and your estimations regarding what is happening in the West Sahara situation, because currently, given that Algeria has broken diplomatic ties with Morocco, the situation is changing. We have contacts with the Polisario Front. I have hosted them myself in Moscow, and I believe that such consultations with you could be beneficial for us to cover the entire range of issues, so that we have a more clear, correct and objective perspective. Sorry for making my introductory remarks so lengthy, but I wanted to outline the issues that are of particular interest and meaning to the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and me personally. And I believe that the South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation shares this interest.
Да, так что я немножко, извиняюсь, такое вступление затянул, но просто хотел обозначить те вопросы, которые для нас, для них, для меня особенно представляют большой интерес, в том числе в разрезе консультаций с нашими коллегами Министерства иностранных дел ЮАР.
And last but not least, there is a special matter we wanted to cover today because we were instructed by the Russian leadership to come here to Pretoria specifically to share our plans for Moscow to host Expo 2030 and probably get your support, get the support of our South African friends to this initiative.
Вопросу Москва, Экспо 2030.
Just yesterday, when we were meeting with President Ramaphosa, we received a favorable response regarding this initiative. But we would also like to tell you, as the Foreign Policy Agency of South Africa, and kindly ask you to give due consideration to our request. And right now, if you have no objections, I would like to give the floor to our colleagues from the bidding committee, who could probably tell you more about this initiative.
Представители заявочного комитета тоже вкратце рассказать вам о нашем.
So our relationship with your country and the leadership of President Putin is one of principle. So there's a historic relations, and I think I must confess that we were elated when the United Party assumed some more gains during the parliamentary processes. I think we must always be happy, because we should appreciate that anything else makes it a bit complex for bilateral and multilateral relations. So I also wish to congratulate you for that consolidation. and wish you well. I think it's 2024, there will be presidential elections, and I think that is quite key and critical, because you have seen, Minister, what happens in particular in countries of the South, where a progressive strand gets diminished, and you then have masculine type of politics that is very arrogant, that is premise on unilateralism, etc. So I think the importance of making sure that our ordinary course of relations consolidate that deeper cultural and political hegemony, I think it's key and critical. Yes, I think it will be important to profile Moscow more. I've looked at the other countries that is competing, and I think after the discussion with President Ramaphosa, he have indicated the importance of what you have said since the bilateral anniversary is 30 years, that he would avail himself to visit your country. Of course, it should be in the first quarter of next year. And obviously, I think it should be intertwined with a anniversary program on diplomatic relations, etc. So I think that for us, it's key. I think this and I'm saying Moscow should be profiled more. So I think it's a good decision, because the G20 I've attended, I think in 2013, the G20 Youth Forum, which was almost held on many occasions in St. Petersburg. So that type of exposure brings a certain dividend. So there is a principled support from our president to support your candidacy, and it will be quite important to ensure that we will also work amongst our peers. And I'm saying our peers because Minister Alvin attended just recently, 3 weeks back or so, the non-aligned movement 60th anniversary in Belgrade, where I've been, and I think you have also made a statement. And given the fact that Uganda is assuming the chairpersonship of NAM next year, I think those are very critical structures to pivot your candidacy, because that is key. Because I've looked, the PIE is approximately 170 member states in it, and I think members of NAM constitute quite a considerable amount. Once again, Minister, what I would appreciate is with your ambassador in South Africa, we have established certain what I call political protocols, not necessarily diplomatic protocols, that when there's key gatherings and President Putin attends it, it is important that we have a bilateral, just in terms of the briefing. And sometimes your very important meetings, for example, what you see with the Great Lakes, the Sahel region, challenges in the Middle East. I think it's quite important that there's cross-cutting exchange of information, so that at all times we should be one step ahead of those that undermines unilateralism. I think that is key for us, and we would of course work with the ambassador here to make sure that I've always said what we need to do more is where there's common areas of solidarity, for example with Western Sahara, there should be more engagements in your resident countries, amongst those ambassadors and, for example, your hosting governments, such as ourselves, because the UN special rapporteur has been appointed recently, the UN Secretary General, so we hope that Stefanos will be able to unlock the challenges there. I think you have raised a number of issues, and we just have a good experience on our relations, especially at the UN Security Council. It was our third time that we have been there, and it's not always what you see is what you see. But I think with your type of forthcomingness and foresight, our term was quite successful. And I don't think after the 1973 resolution, we have said that we need to be very careful, because when you agree on an approach that says let's be firm on strategy and flexible on tactic, it's very dangerous for a social and a stable world order. But I think, having said that, yes, I hope that it was music to the ears of your delegation in particular, that I think the President has actually responded quite positively. And from here, we will ensure, obviously, as South Africa, that at the bilateral level and with our diplomatic footprints, where there is difficulties and we have, for example, better relations, there must then obviously be task allocations, because that is what friends in the multilateral space do. So thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much for the effort of having come here and meet and also give the message from President Putin.